As a centre-right, old-fashioned classical Liberal in Australia, it's agony watching your team lose election after election. It's more agonising watching them losing because they keep making the same mistake, standing for nothing and trying to be all things to all people, responding to market research and polling instead of leading the debate and setting the agenda. Of course, I'm talking about the Liberal Party. But the very worst thing of all is having to listen to people who don't listen, the losers, complaining after they've lost. They complain that they lost for every reason under the sun, then that they stuffed it up. We haven't had to hear the post-election therapy sessions of New South Wales ex-Premier Dominic Perrottet yet, but we were treated this week to the ex-Victorian Liberal leader Matthew Guy's psychiatric session with Melbourne Radio 3AW's Neil Mitchell.
Faceless leakers of the Liberal Party, and there's a number of them, these faceless leakers of the Liberal Party who profit from gossiping, whether it's from themselves personally through their work or their reputation, and there's two in particular, but there's a number of others. And what you see are these people, Neil, who offer themselves predominantly to newspapers, but also to, like ABC, who are regular haters of the Liberal Party, who will just gossip. And that gossiping is usually talking the Liberal Party down. So people on our side who talk us down, talk our parliamentary parties down, talk the brand down, talk us down at every opportunity. Of course, people like the ABC and those love it because they run these people. Sometimes they're on the record, most of the time they're off. But we need to expunge these faceless leakers of the Liberal Party because they do damage to the party, thinking they're trying to advance themselves and they do not.
Let's remember that these critics and leakers wouldn't be able to criticise or leak if there was strong leadership and less to criticise or leak about. Something that Neil Mitchell was quick to point out.
There's nothing wrong with criticism from within the party, and you deserve criticism at times.
No,
is it more than that?
No, you don't see this in the Labor Party. This kind of ill-discipline happens from these faceless leakers in the Liberal Party, and there's a couple of them, as I said. Two very prominent and a number of others beyond that.
Names?
No, not today.
Leakers of internal gossip. What exactly is Matthew Guy doing right now, if not that, himself? So why did you lose, Matt? What was it?
I'll let you be the judge of that. There's lots of different things.
Was it you?
No, I don't think it was that at all. I think
people didn't like you.
The state president doesn't like me. Go and ask him. But
he blamed you, didn't he?
Well, I blame him as part of that, and I've been pretty forthright about that. I think his conduct was woeful, and I think he's been a woeful state president, and I think he should go. I've been on the record saying that, and I'd continue doing that.
In what way was he woeful?
Well, he was not a help to the campaign. He was a hindrance to the campaign.
But these people don't want you to lose, do they?
They are not in it. I question whether some of these faceless leakers, not Greg, but some of the faceless leakers of the party want the party ever to win. They actually do better in terms of their briefing to the media by us not winning. And that's why people need to stop feeding them.
And he blamed Sky News' Peter Credlin.
What about Peter Credlin? She didn't work for the Labor Party. She had a very senior position within the Abbott government.
I don't want to personally attack her, but, she's no friend of mine, quite obviously.
Why? Did she hurt you?
Well, I was a supporter of Malcolm Turnbull and she was the chief staff of Tony Abbott. That's like, it's like asking a South Australian to barrack for Collingwood, isn't it?
Supporter of Malcolm Turnbull? You wouldn't admit to that now, would you?
Well, no, absolutely I would. Absolutely I would.
He's turned on the Liberal Party.
Look, I don't like what Malcolm says in parts about the Liberal Party, but, I'm not going to be so disloyal as to turn on someone like that.
It's a weird kind of logic, isn't it? The interview didn't really get deeply into policy mistakes or policy substance, but I do sympathise with Matthew Guy on one point. He said that when he tried to speak about policy in the election campaign, the TV news and the print media, wielding significant pro-Labor Party bias and only interested in stories about personality that would titillate viewers, simply were not interested in policy. Most of our news media just doesn't cover stuff in depth. Why? Because of us. We won't listen and think, and we want to be entertained all the time rather than informed. That has got to change, and that is on all of us. But as we said, Guy blamed everyone but himself, his poor policies or his poor performance. He blamed both Sky News and the ABC. That's a real achievement. And in the end, you just got to say, if you can't beat Dan Andrews, who only got 37% of the vote and limped over the line with the help of the Greens, who can you beat?